Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah. I'm back again. Just when I stopped the show, then they decided they finished the job and they're going. So we had to carry on anyway. So I still had some time, and I was really upset that I had to cut it short. So for those of you who are aware, those of you who were watching or whatever, please forgive me that I had to just cut it short. And people are doing work at home, and I had to cut it short. So there you go. We're back again. Anyway, so I was in there with I was dealing with the question. Yeah, there is is it suggested that the future wife can talk to the present wife, and what type of questions are appropriate for each sister to ask one another? Okay, answer is answer is there is definitely more than one option in this issue. Some consider that you should let your husband deal with his marriage himself, so that if he's successful or not, it is on him. You can't be blamed if it doesn't work out. Now, so there's a lot of sisters who think it's on them to go and look for another wife for the husband, and they go and look, and then it doesn't work out, and then it ends up them being blamed. I mean, things like that doesn't work out, and the husband will turn around and say, "I didn't ask you to look for another wife for me," So yeah, so it happens like that. So leave it to himself. Let him when he's ready, when he's time, let him do it in his time. So at the end of the day, he cannot blame you. You cannot be blamed for it. Okay. One might also inadvertently, subconsciously turn the sisters off. Others consider it respectful to present the wife and suggest asking any questions on his deen, family, temperament, and how he treats her, and personal questions off the limit. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you can. I don't know if it's a good idea to suggest that you ask questions about him. I mean, the sister might not want to answer questions about him. Her his other wife might not want to get involved. So his other wife might not gonna want to get involved and give them information, even if it's not personal questions. Some people don't feel comfortable about it. It really depends on the personalities involved here. However, if the present wife is not comfortable talking to a future wife, then the issue shouldn't be pushed. I mean, obviously it's obvious. I don't think any other person would want to do something like that. So anyway, let me pull this forward a bit. Yeah, I'll eat my cake later on when I've finished. Okay. She does not have to talk to a future wife. Also, present wives need to understand that future wives do not have to talk to them as well. Such a scenario can be emotionally difficult for both parties. It should be understood that women deal with their emotions in different ways. Why are you going to throw yourself into this emotional issue when, you can ask his friends. You can send a brother from the masjid or whatever, and who's a friend of his, who knows him very well, who knows his dealings, his family, who knows whatever. If you need references from him, you don't need to go to his wife and get that anyway. So if a sister don't want to talk, then do not feel disrespected, but make excuses for her instead. She may be stepping back from such a talk as her way of dealing with her emotions. Yeah. I mean, obviously, if she's not happy with her husband taking another wife, is she gonna sit down and then talk to somebody else about it? So you have to think of these things. Anyway, so yeah. Um, Any future wife is marrying the brother, not the brother's wife. Again, we mentioned about the mother-in-law as well. Like, you're not marrying the mother-in-law nor the wife, and therefore it is not necessary to speak to the present wife. Some women, like, like to get involved so much that it ends up causing some, issues with them, because they don't understand that the other wife, what she might be going through. Yeah. So obviously, like, obviously, like, it's going to be hard for her. So for you to just step in and, like, now I want information from him, about him or whatever. So anyway, let me just check my other, because I just suddenly came back on live again, and yeah, let me see. I hope everything's working back again, as normal. Yeah, everything's working normal. See, just suddenly these the workers decided to come, and it kind of, like, disrupted my plans and whatever. Anyway, so there you go. So now it's okay. Everything is done. They've done their work and they've gone. And they, just as I hung up, just as I put down I just turned off, and I went out to see them, what they're doing, and what they need. And they said to me, "Work is done. It's working properly." And my son tested it, and it worked. So I shouldn't have stopped the live. But anyway, okay. So where are we? Yeah. As well, present wives need to understand that their husbands do not need. I need to turn off the sound there. Yeah, that their husbands do not need do not need approval to remarry, or their approval of whom they remarry. Sisters have to bear that in mind. Yeah, but the husband doesn't need your approval. Doesn't need to ask. If you're okay with it or whatever. So what's the point now, like, of having any conversation with any sister about it or whatever. So yeah. Taking from the example of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his wives did not talk to future wives before the Prophet Prophet's marriage. In some cases, even, they did not know of his marriages until afterwards, as he married some of the wives while away on journeys. Yeah, he forgot the name now, Safiya radiallahu anha. Safiya radiallahu anha, he came back with her, on a battle, from a Ghazwa, and he got married to her. So obviously, like, he didn't have to mention it to his wives, and he didn't have to get any permission or whatever. So there you go. Anyway, so yeah, they kept their distances and concentrated on their own marriages and making them fulfilling. It was the Prophet's business and his own decision to marry whoever he chooses. Remember, your husband is the leader. He's the one who takes the decision. Yeah? So why are you going to enter into it and find out, like, this, that, and the other, and, like, no, let him do his thing. Let him do his thing. If it works, alhamdulillah. If it doesn't work, it's his thing. Yeah. Okay. He's the leader, and he knows, like, he's the one who takes decisions basically in the house, and he's not going to ask for your approval. But does the boss ask for the approval of the worker? No. The boss goes ahead and then takes the decisions. So the best example to emulate is that of the Prophet ﷺ and his wives. Okay. Next question, page 156. Okay, we'll go on for another maybe 30 minutes, because obviously I cut it short earlier on, and I had to cut short every now and again to go and see the workmen who decided to come just at the time when I was on live. They had booked from 5 till 9, but, like, they could have called it 5, 6, 7 or whatever, but they called exactly on the time when I was on live. So there you go. My time here, I mean. Okay, question. Many women are involved with their husbands and know most things what goes on in their lives. Obviously, when there are two or more wives, there are going to be some secrets or parts of the husband's life that one of them is not part of. Does this tend to pose problems? Answer: yes. This can pose problems for the first wife. For the first wives who are used to always knowing what their husband is and where their husband is and knowing everything about his life, this change may be difficult to get used to. Okay. Obviously, it's going to happen. I mean, before, everything he does, you used to know, you used to be aware of it. Now you don't know where he is and what he's doing or whatever, and as Shaitan has a habit of whispering to us in order to create discord between people, especially man and wife. Co-wives sometimes become suspicious of the husband in regards to their whereabouts. Now, I've always said this, yeah. Before, when a man is single, or when a man is married to one wife, a lot of times she's not worried about her time, her time that he spends with her. He goes out, does shopping, goes to the gym with his friends, playing football or whatever. She doesn't question him about his time. But as soon now that he gets another wife, now she becomes suspicious now of his time. What is he doing? Where is he? Why? Because Shaitan is whispering in the ears. Okay, so we have to kind of get that solved as well. The whispering of Shaitan. However, oftentimes when one is becoming suspicious, it turns out that none of the wives know where he is at the given time. It is something that has to be gotten used to. Sisters need to concentrate on their own time with the husband and make it special and fulfilling. Why is it that you're going to bother yourself on what he's doing? You know, why not concentrate on the time that you have with him? Yeah? Make it more fulfilling. When he's not around, like I said earlier on, there are sisters whose husband might not be around, and they're happy they got some time to themselves. They can if they're into some crafts or some sort of writing or some sort of whatever, they can uh, dig deep in whatever they're doing. Yeah. Now, why are you going to kind of worried about where he is, what he's doing, suspicion, and this and that and the other? So rather avoid that. Concentrate on the time you have with him. How to make that special? How to make him love you more? Yeah? What goes on elsewhere is not their business. Only Shaitan makes us wonder in order to cause jealousy, suspicion, or distrust in the hearts. We have to recognize that these are those whisperings of the accursed ones. Leave such issues alone and focus on our marriages. These brothers are on loan from Allah. We've mentioned that before. Yeah, your husband can die anytime. You can die anytime. Yeah. But Allah will always be there, and your husband is on loan from Allah. Why do you have to kind of worry uh, what goes on elsewhere, what he's doing elsewhere? Maybe you didn't care what he was doing when he was with his friends. While he was with his friends, he could have been checking out other women as well. But you don't care. You didn't care about that. Shaitan didn't wish was in the ears. Now that the fact that he's married, now Shaitan was in the ears. He could have been going to places where he shouldn't be with his friends, and when he was with his friends. But you didn't care about that. But now when he's married, now you care about his time and your time and whatever. So you shouldn't you know worry about that. Focus on your marriage. And like it says here, these brothers are on loan to us from Allah. We all belong to Allah, and our existence as women. This is a woman writing this book now, targeted to the sisters, as women, is completely separate from their existence as our from their existence as our husbands. There are always going to be things about his life, whether in a polygynous marriage or not, that are not known to you. He might be sitting in a restaurant with his friends, and texting another sister. You don't know about that. He's going out with his friends, and maybe some beautiful girls in the if he's not 100% practicing or whatever, he may be going out and looking at the other women's while you're still in a monogamous marriage. While you're still in a monogamous marriage, all that might be happening. There are things that are going to go. There are always things to. There are always going to be things about his life, whether in polygamy or not, that are not known to you. Okay, there is nothing wrong with this, and as well, no doubt, there are things in our lives that our husband don't know about us. Husband, there's things that he don't know. He don't know about the wives as well. There are things about my wife that I don't know. I'm not saying that she gets involved in things that he shouldn't do, but she does. I don't need to know. I don't need to know all everything. Okay. Okay, so now we're on page 157. We'll do 157. There's about 3 questions on there, and then we'll finish. And what I'll do is I'll tie up the two together now, the main one that I did and this, so it becomes one stream. Okay, when the husband marries again, there is a possibility that he may change some of his sexual habits. The first wife may notice these changes. How can she deal with it? There is no doubt. This is no doubt a difficult one indeed, but we have to keep in mind that when a husband does with his other wives in bed is actually absolutely none of your business. Okay? Now, a man might get married to another wife. His wife is currently older or whatever. He gets married to somebody younger who's got some different fantasies, who would loves to make love in a different way, basically, and you as a wife, you will probably feel that. But what he does in bed with his other wives has got nothing to do with you. It's none of your business. It's not something that you should think of at all. When such thoughts come to your mind, say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Until these thoughts are gone, we certainly wouldn't want anyone else knowing our business, our bedroom habits, so we must stay clear of thoughts about other people's bedroom habits, especially our co-wives. Or you can sit down and then wonder, has my husband brought them, sexy underwear for her? What color? What this? What that? Silk, satin, this type of stuff. And she's younger. Don't think about it. It's not your business, and you wouldn't want people to kind of think about what goes on in your bedroom. Okay. That question is done. Next question: Do you lose trust in your husband once he remarries? Okay. The answer is there is no reason why a sister should lose trust in her husband simply because of polygyny. Okay. He's gone into polygyny. He hasn't become a drug addict or a gambler or whatever, and start bringing haram at home and stuff like that. He's done something that is halal, that is completely halal, that he has the right to do, and Allah's given him the right to do that. Polygyny in and of itself does not cause a loss of trust. It would be when a brother practices polygyny by breaking his trust and acting in a deceptive manner that a sister would lose trust in her husband. But the loss of trust in this case is not related to the act of polygyny itself. Okay, not because he got married that you should lose trust in him. But if he starts acting strangely, he starts treating you differently, he starts being different. That act is what you should question, not the act of polygyny. Okay. But the loss of trust in this case is not related to the act of polygyny. As long as the brother is trustworthy person and acts accordingly, then polygyny shouldn't cause mistrust. It's not the fact that he got another wife that straight away now I don't trust him. Like, I trusted him all these years, and now he's got another wife or whatever, and I don't trust him. Whatever. No, it's his action that he does, that, like, after he's entered into a polygynous marriage, that should be questioned. Okay, so we're on the 20-minute mark, added to the 50-minute that I left earlier on. So we're just over the 1 hour or 1 hour and 10 minute mark. And we will go on another question or two and see how far we go. Yeah, we've got some short questions, so it's okay. Yeah. So and then I will, like I said, I'll try and tie these together and make one stream, so we don't, like, overlap or whatever. This was part of number 23. Okay, part 23, but unfortunately, like I said, it got interrupted, and I didn't know that, like, they were going to go straight away. Otherwise, I would have just left it and came back as soon as I went outside and to check on them. Although my son was checking on them, but, like, I thought he didn't come down, and what's her name? I went there. They said to me, "No, it's working now, and I can see the lights and everything." And so, anyway, what to do? Anyway, so another question: how do I survive this? Okay, answer. First, say to Allah, we belong to Him, and we be, say, first say, to Allah we belong, and to Him is our return. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Okay, and second, pray and beseech Allah for help. Well, we've mentioned that several times. Turn to Allah. Whatever you do, turn to Allah in order to be able to survive anything that you need to survive. You turn to Allah, and Allah will send help for you. Okay. Third, cry. Let it out, but not in front of your children. That's one thing, very important. Don't let it out in front of your children. They will have a bad impression on their father, and, like, thinking that their father has done something wrong when he hasn't. Basically, he hasn't done anything wrong. A lot of sisters, like, do that. They will cry in front of their children to get children support, and children end up, like, hating their fathers for just doing something that is halal, basically. Yeah. Let it out, but not in front of the children. That's one thing that is just going to have to be done to get it out of your system. Don't fool yourself into thinking that you're just so cool with it that you don't have to cry, that you have no tears to shed. Once the tears have been shed, you can move on, and you can move on. Reliance of Allah becomes the way through. Turn to Allah with hopes and fears. Request solace. Request solace and contentment from Allah. Request emotional strength, help in fighting the whisperings of Allah, and relief from your pain. Answer the question: do you worship your husband, or do you worship Allah? This is something very, very, very important. I've been talking about several times. We all worship Allah. We don't worship our spouses or whatever. We worship Allah. So why are we going to, like, not be able to survive it or whatever? What happens if he died? What happens if, like, suddenly you were with him, everything was okay, also happy and everything, and suddenly he passed away. Allah took his life. Wouldn't you have to say the same thing? The same thing. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Yeah. So, what's the problem of saying it if he takes another sister? Remember that. Concentrate on that. Live for Allah. Remind yourself of your bounties of paradise for the believers, and strive for it. Yeah. I think I've spoken about this several times, sisters, about the rewards that Allah gives the sister, yeah, that the man does not get. Yeah. Actually, the man on the day of Yom Al Qiyamah, he's the one who's going to have to stand in front of his Lord. He's the one who's going to have to answer if he did any injustice or whatever. He's going to have to answer. You won't have to if you make patience. If you are patient and everything, you won't have to, sister. So why worry about things like this? Why, like, why make problems or whatever? I know it's easier said than done. You can turn around and think, oh, who does he think he is? Like, it's easier said than done. But no, like, if you are more geared towards the love of Allah, if you're more geared to, like, loving your Allah and worshiping Him, then obviously, like, because you don't worship your husband and husband doesn't worship the wife, and the Prophet ﷺ said, if it was allowed to bow to anybody, he would ask the wife to bow down to their husbands. But it's not allowed. It's not permissible. So focus on Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Okay. For polygyny to be successful, do initial marriages have to be strong before successive marriages occur? Okay. Answer: many women feel that a marriage should be strong before successive marriages occur. But it seems that some women try to use this as an excuse to say that they're not ready for polygyny, and try to prevent their husbands from remarrying. However, this should not be an excuse. And really, what is a strong marriage anyway? There's always some problems in marriage, whether it's for long-term marriage or whatever, been married for a long time. It's never going to be like, all roses or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, different people. What are the determining factors of a strong marriage? Different people have different factors that they consider important for a marriage to be considered strong. It is time. It is personality. Is it time? Is it personality harmony? Is it strength in the deen and the love for the sake of Allah? If both members of the couple are striving to please Allah and worship Allah, following the injunctions of Islam, then there should be between them peace and harmony and love for the sake of Allah. Regardless of time, this is enough to ensure a healthy marriage and success in polygyny. We can look at the Prophet ﷺ and see that many successive marriages occurred in very short amounts of time too. Yeah, he married them different wives in very short amounts of time before he could even settle with another one. So, like, Anyway, just like to remind you that you're watching our People of the Book, and I had to cut off the first part because I had people doing work at home, and then I decided straight away to come back because straight away they left. So please subscribe, like, and share, and please help me build a bigger audience. It's not that I do this for the audience. I don't do it for the audience. I do it for Allah. But it is pleasing to see your audience increasing. It is pleasing to see people come in and give salam, and you can share, laugh with, or whatever. So anyway. Um, yeah, successive marriages of the Prophet ﷺ occurred in very short amounts of time after previous marriages, even less than a year. Most women today would feel slighted if their husband remarried in less than a year after their marriage. But certainly there are no slight to the wives of the Prophet ﷺ. Their marriages were strong. However, short amount of time that they were married, because they were striving to follow the Quran and please Allah. Waiting for a strong marriage, there is no excuse to deny a husband the right to polygyny. Okay. However, I would like to advise my brothers, the state of the Ummah at the moment, the state of disposable marriages. Yeah. You get married today, and it's like, not happy with this, not happy with that, and just throw it out the window. And within 6 months, 1 year, the sister's already on the market, looking for somebody else to get married. So I would advise brothers to just take it easy in that field. Get yourself, strong. Get yourself personally, make yourself the best of yourself, and financially, and every aspect as well. Wait a bit, and then when the time's right, you go ahead with it. You can do it at any time, but this is my personal opinion, that like jumping into it too fast, this is what might break up the first woman. Yeah. Because women, they may say something before the marriage. Yeah, okay, no problem. Go ahead and do it. And then when you go ahead and do it, they can go, not be happy with it, and then ask for divorce. So you don't want to break up your marriage. You just got married them a year ago or whatever. You don't want to break up that marriage. Be wise, and wait for it. Yeah. At the same time, you know, make yourself the best of yourself. Go to the gym. I've been enjoying it in the gym, learn to cook. I've been going back to studying again, as a student of knowledge, learning more, learning my deen, fiqh, aqidah, So, make yourself the best of yourself, So then, at least when you decided now you're going to take another sister, there are things that sister will probably like about you, the sister that you got married to now, that she would not want to leave you now, because now you've made yourself the best of yourself. What more can you be? You've looked after yourself, you're healthy, you eat well, you do good for your family, you raise your children well, you raise her well as well. Make yourself the best of yourself. Then obviously, but if you try to jump into it too quickly, this is my opinion, but it's up to you. Looking at the situation today, you see that marriage has become disposable today. You're not happy, divorce. So you don't want something like that to happen, unless the divorce is for a different cause, unless it's not for the cause of you wanting to get married again. Okay. So I think we'll end here. Okay, we'll end. There's another question, but obviously, like I said, I won't keep it long. I'd add this to the other time, and it'll make up for the 1 hour and for the 30 minutes that was left out. So we'll stop on page 159, and our next question will be: should I go to my husband's new wedding if he asks me if I want to go? Nice question, isn't it? Yeah. Should I go to my husband's new wedding if he asks me if I want to go? I don't know. I personally, I wouldn't invite my wife. I don't know. So, I don't know. Well, anyway, we'll see. So, we'll answer the question next week. Yeah. And in the meantime, like I said, if I make any mistakes, please forgive me, and please forgive me for having to leave every now and again. I had workman at home, and last week I didn't come or whatever. And I enjoy doing this. I enjoy doing this. Only if it's even though it's once a week. I wish I had more time on my hands. So that I can do it more. But anyway, please forgive me if there is anything that I said that was wrong. And if you have benefited anything from it, it's from Allah. And please make dua that Allah gives me more knowledge so that I can share with you. Okay. Okay. So I'll see you again next week. I'm not coming back later on. Yeah. This is a one-off. It's a one-off. I had to what's the name? So I decided to come back, and I'll try and join this together with the other stream. Okay, so we'll stop here, inshallah, and I'll see you next week. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika bi izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.